Let's now bring in our panel. First, we have the founder and senior pastor of Real Faith, Mark Driscoll. We also have the host of the Lucas Miles Show, the author of Woke Jesus, the False Messiah, Destroying Christianity, Lucas Miles. Gentlemen, welcome to you, and a blessed Good Friday and Happy Easter to you both. My question to both of you is this. Riley Gaines was assaulted for daring to question the newest religion of the left. She took a science-based position about men and women, which is now apparently heresy. How long before we are, are persecuted for merely acknowledging God's design and basic science? Pastor Driscoll, you go first.
Well, it's Good Friday. This is the day that Christians remember the greatest injustice in the history of the world, the murder of Jesus, who wasn't just good, but perfect. And we've actually got a documentary coming out today at realfaith.com looking at Christ crucified. And as Christians, we need to know if we're going to follow Jesus, we're probably going to be treated like him, hated like him, opposed like him, canceled like him, deplatformed like him. And we should consider that a great honor and joy. And rather than whining, we should be preaching Jesus. That's what we need to stay on message with.
Mr. Miles, what about you? You want to take a swing at this?
Yeah, look, I'd agree with Pastor Mark. I think he's right on. And, one of the things that we see here within, say, progressive Christianity or other forms of, ideologies out today like critical race theory is they really rob the believer from being able to suffer for Christ, because your suffering is always because of your gender, your country of origin, your immigration status, the color of your skin. But as believers, we are persecuted because the world first hated God and now it hates us as a result of that. And I think that's something that we recall and remember this season, and it's important to keep our focus on.
All right, now I want to get to our neighbors to the north, Canada, who are proposing a law protecting, actually attacking people who criticize transvestite drag shows. Watch.
Firstly, it enables the Attorney General to create a 2S LGBTQI+ community safety zone to prohibit within 100 meters of the property any homophobic, transphobic act of intimidation, threat, offensive threats, offensive remarks, protest, disturbance, and distribution of hate propaganda within the meaning of the criminal code. It also comes with...
Wow. Pastor Miles, they not only want to push this non-science garbage onto us, but they wish to prevent us from speaking against it. That doesn't sound very tolerant to me.
I just had a Canadian reach out to me here. He's a professor of journalism at a major university in Canada. And he was reaching out and saying, I don't know what to do anymore. He used to write for a lot of publications around Canada. He goes, this is my background. He goes, I have a robust resume. He goes, I can't even get a story published anymore because my voice is being silenced. And really the free press as he goes, it's all but gone here in Canada. And I think we're seeing, laws like this that are trying to be passed right now as continued evidence of this. And I think it's something that is a little too close to home for us here in America. And I expect to see a lot more of this, unfortunately.
No, it is sad to see our neighbors to the north go communist. Pastor Driscoll, President Reagan once said of the destruction of our country that it happens, or actually any country throughout history, it happens because we turn away from God. Watch this.
Without God, there is no virtue because there's no prompting of the conscience. Without God, we're mired in the material, that flat world that tells us only what the senses perceive. Without God, there is a coarsening of the society. And without God, democracy will not and cannot long endure.
Yeah, Reagan's wisdom and warning. Pastor, what's your advice to your flock when pure evil is staring us right in the face?
Well, we've gotten to a point now where it really is binary. You either believe that the only authority is within you, so you determine reality, gender, right and wrong, fact and fiction, or there is an external authority, namely God, and he is the one that we are subject to and supposed to listen to and obey. And those two ideologies are really in a head-on collision at this point in our culture. There is no resolution. There's no negotiating in the middle. We have reached a binary place. And the left has really pushed it because they're acting like jihadists. It's convert or die. And wokeism has become a secular religion. And if you don't convert, you will be canceled or crucified. That's the world we live in. And I'll be honest, to me, it's exciting because finally we know who the believers are. We know who the pretenders are. We know what the battle is, and we got some work to do.
Right. And you took me right where I wanted to go, Lucas. Whether it's man-made global warming, LGBTQ, ABCDFG, cultural Marxism, or this hate whitey critical race theory philosophy, these new false religions don't preach peace and love the way the Judeo-Christian ethic does. They preach violence, and it makes them incredibly dangerous. Yes?
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's when you look at this, it is a message that is very exclusive. You have to believe this particular way or you cannot be accepted this. We saw this in the story with the swimmer. We see this in every other account, is that, you have to bow the knee, you have to do the right hand gesture, you have to say the right, slogan in order to be accepted. And if you don't, then you're rejected, you're canceled, you're silenced. And if they have to, they're going to use violence in order to, to shut you up, because they will not receive any message or allow any message to be spoken that is not their own.
Pastor Lucas Miles and Pastor Mark Driscoll, a blessed Easter to you both, and thank you for your time.